Well, a very good afternoon. Thank you so much for keeping it TV47. My name is Linda Alela. It is time for Newsfeed. President Uhuru Kenyatta expected to address the nation in regards to the situation of COVID-19, and we all are eagerly waiting for the same. We'll be right here to update you on what, of course, the president will say as and when it hits our desks. We have so much in store for you this afternoon, and I take you through the stories of the day, as so much has been prepared in regards to also dealing with COVID-19, and so much so also in the world of sports, in the world of health and matters education. So to kickstart, as the country marks 10 years under the current constitution, civil society organizations in Trans Nzoia want the government to implement it fully. Boniface Baraza with the details.
A decade ago, the country made history by promulgating the new constitution that was expected to address myriad of issues, among them gender equity in both elective and appointive positions. However, a section of civil society in Trans Nzoia claims that this has not been achieved.
There are some provisions in the 2010 constitution that need rethinking. The 2/3 gender rule is clearly one of them. After 10 years of all manner of attempts to get this enacted, there has been zero progress. Parliament has failed to enact the 2/3 gender rule, a legal provision that would help women in appointive and elective positions.
On the issue of 2/3 gender rule, let there be a legal provision that will help women in appointive and elective positions. Wacha kuwe na usawa na sauti ya wanawake isikike.
The 2/3 gender bill has flopped 4 times at the floor of the National Assembly. Leonard Barasa, the Director of Justice and Peace Center, a civil society organization in North Rift Region, blames political interference.
The 2010 constitution brought in independent offices like the Director of Public Prosecutions, Chief Justice and Auditor General. Despite this, there has been systematic efforts and attacks at some of the independent offices, such as the Judicial Service Commission, by the executive to undermine their independence. Similarly, there are those whose impact is yet to be felt despite expending taxpayers' money. They need to be rationalized, some should be closed and others merged.
Baraza says despite establishment of the Anti-Graft Commission, little has been achieved in terms of fighting corruption.
Another area where the 2010 constitution is still struggling is in combating corruption. Kenyans thought that with the creation of independent commissions and offices, the battle against corruption will be won. It's time for Kenyans to undertake an evaluation as to why the provisions of the constitution have been rendered powerless by this monster, and what can be done to strengthen them to achieve this goal.
The center proposes that health services be reverted back to the national government. George Okinyi argues that the county governments do not have the capacity to manage the critical sector.
The county governments have failed to implement what is provided for in the constitution. We have seen several strikes happening. That means the service providers are not happy with what they are given by the county government, and therefore it is a high time that the health services was taken back to the national government.
Boniface Barasa, TV47, Trans Nzoia County.
Thank you so much, Boniface Baraza, for that. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta is set to address the nation this afternoon. The president will give the way forward after the expiry of some of the containment measures put in place. Among the issues to be addressed is a nationwide curfew that has been in place for 30 days after an extension. As promised, we'll be here to update you on the address. Now, Funyula Member of Parliament Wilberforce Mudenyo has asked the Ministry of Education to put proper guidelines before resumption of learning. Speaking in Busia, Mudenyo noted that parents need ample time to prepare themselves financially due to the poor economic times caused by COVID-19 pandemic.
Tuwe na mpangilio muafaka. Aidha ni Januari, aidha ni Oktoba, aidha ni mwezi gani, tujue watoto wanafungua siku gani shule. Sababu kuna wazazi hapo wengi, they have eaten, so to speak, the school fees. Sasa ukisema watoto warudi shule next week, wataanza kufanya kuwa shida kupata hiyo school fees. Lakini jambo la muhimu sana, lazima tuthibitishe, tuhakikishe kuwa ugonjwa umepunguka, ndio watoto wetu warudi shuleni. Lakini pia tujue, labda tunaweza kuwa na corona miaka mingi ambayo inakuja, inatufaa tuanze kufanya mpango ya to live with the corona na kuruhusu watoto wetu warudi shuleni.
Now, the national government says it's committed to the sustainable use of marine resources for poverty alleviation and economic growth. This is according to Agriculture CS Peter Munya, who says there is a critical importance for sustainable marine resource management for prosperity.
Tumepanua training kwa wale hawana hiyo uwezo na uzoefu ya mambo ya fisheries. Tumeanza training, ilianza mwaka huu, saa hii watu wametrainiwa 1800. Tumesema mwaka huu tunataka training ya 2000 people every year. Na sio kufunza wewe tu mambo ya kufishi hapa kidogo, hapa kwa kona hapa. Hii bahari ni kubwa. Kubwa, bahari ya Kenya, kubwa sana. Ukilinganisha na ardhi ya Kenya, hii bahari iko 41% ya ardhi ya Kenya. Ile bahari ya Kenya sasa simaanishi bahari ya kimataifa. Ile inaitwa Exclusive Economic Zone.
Now, farmers in Muranga, Kiambu and Nakuru counties are keen on tracing their ways back to organic farming to grow high-yielding vegetables. Organic Agriculture Center of Kenya, that is OACK, is stepping up training programs for rural communities in an effort to help participants make sustainable livelihoods, help in the production of healthy food, and conserve the ecosystems which has been damaged by years of heavy use of chemicals.
Siku 21 na kila wakati unaenda hapo, iko kijiti unafinya hiyo, ukiangalia kama iko sawa sawa au ukuje upidue mara ingine. Nataka kuambia wakulima hawa wengine tufuate hii organic farming, iko na manufaa sana.
So far we have reached slightly over 10,000 farmers because we established the organization in 2006, but we normally work with around 1,000 farmers per year. In organic farming, we train farmers to work with the resources that are available in their farms. We also help them work with inputs that will not be detrimental to the soil, their health, and the general environment. In that case, for instance, we normally work with them in improving their animal manure so that it can be a good fertilizer for the soil.
Now, the CS for Matters Treasury, or Treasury CS Ukuri Atani, says no individual should be spared if found to have misappropriated COVID-19 funds, calling on EACC and DCI to investigate the matter. Speaking at the National Assembly Leadership Retreat, Yatani has said that Kenya has received 22 billion to help in fighting the pandemic, which shouldn't be misappropriated at all. Let's take a look at that.
Or how much have we disbursed to date? Sometimes there's perception that, all that, whatever support we got, went to the Ministry of Health. What actually the Ministry of Health got was only 22 billion. And they were for various interventions. purchase of establishment of quarantine facilities, provision of face masks. There are also conditional grants to counties. We've given, at one tranche, we gave 5 billion to the counties to upgrade their facilities. Additionally, we also supported counties to pay all the frontline health workers, in addition to a number of those interventions. And all these, we put up accountability mechanism from Treasury by making sure that the funds disbursed to any institutions are fully accounted for. And from where I sit, I am happy at least with the interventions that were given to the rest of the sectors. Of course, there could be doubts on what might have gone to KEMSA, but I leave it to the relevant agencies, which already have started the process of investigation. Hopefully something will come out of it. And if there is any individual or group of people who have diverted resources meant for a calamity like this, they should not be spared, because they have no business being part of this noble society called Kenya. Taking advantage of a situation like this is not the desirable thing to do. So we have all these interventions. We got support from World Bank, we got support from ADB, IMF, we got support also from Danida of 300 million, but that was directly going to certain facility within the counties. And the rest are in the open. There's really nothing we do outside the framework of the budget. And the people who appropriate budget is not me. I just give a proposal to you. So if there is anything that we have done, is within your knowledge and is within your, you are fully in support. But my appeal to you is that because you remember the engagement we had with the economic stimulus package, our focus was constituency. If you now take leadership at that constituency level, and you must establish how many classrooms will be built, what is your allocation? How about the desk? How about the teachers that will be going to be recruited? How about the medical staff that's going to be recruited? Because we've established a steering committee that I chair, a steering committee of cabinet that I chair, and the instructions were given that they must work with the leadership from the constituency to the leadership of the House, because we want to do it in a manner that's not only transparent, but also meets the demand of Kenyans who are every single day wants more transparency, more accountability, particularly from the top. Speaker, I want to stop there, and I didn't want to go through the very many details on where we are with the state of the economy. I just gave an overview of where we are. I'll be glad to get whatever question.
Now, as the country marks 10 years of the current constitution, statistics continue to indicate that many Kenyans are still unhappy with how the constitution has been implemented so far. According to a survey conducted by Amnesty International, only 23% of Kenyans are happy with its implementation so far. The statistics also indicate that 55% of Kenyans are familiar with the new constitution, with 50% of the number being familiar with the Bill of Rights of new constitution. The study further indicates that 60% of the Kenyans would like the constitution to be implemented rather than being amended. And on matters devolution, 75% of Kenyans believe that devolution has enabled easier service delivery. However, 85% of Kenyans believe that devolution has increased corruption cases in the country. The statistics further indicate that many Kenyans have lost faith with the police service, and to an extent 49% of Kenyans are afraid of police brutality, while 29% are afraid of poverty. Away from that, residents of Molo and Kuresoi sub-counties have now resorted to taking law into their own hands on suspects linked to theft of their livestock. Rahab Kinyanjui reports from Molo, Nakuru County.
These were the outcomes of people filled with rage and the feeling of neglect from security agencies. They are counting losses from cattle to poultry.
Tumetolewa mang'ombe, makondo, makuku, unakuta watu wameingia wanatutolea kila kitu. Na hapa tumesumbuka sana na hii wezi kwa sababu wametuhangaisha sana.
Pushing them to take the law into their own hands.
Tumejifuga sisi watu wote area hii. Na hii sasa hawatatuangamisha tena kwa sababu serikali haichukui hatua, lakini sisi tutajichukulia hatua. Hatukai kwa siku, kila siku tunalala tunakutwa hata kwa ndani ya nyumba.
They are now calling on the government to tighten security in the area, or else they will continue punishing the suspects.
Maaskari wasipochukua hii hatua, tutaendelea kufanya hivi vile tulifanya.
Ni jambo ambalo kweli linahuzunisha. Kwa hivyo ningetoa tu ombi kwa serikali yetu waweze kuchukua nafasi, sheria iweze kufuata mkondo wake.
For TV47, my name is Rahab Kinuthia.
And from that story by Rahab, former Naivasha Member of Parliament John Mutudho has called on President Uhuru Kenyatta to borrow a leaf from Somalia and ensure all culprits behind the COVID-19 funds theft are arrested and prosecuted. On Monday, a regional court in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, sentenced 4 senior Ministry of Health officials and acquitted 5 others accused of stealing money meant to combat the COVID-19 pandemic, HIV and AIDS, and malaria. The 4 are facing jail terms of up to 18 years and have also been slapped with fines in one of the hardest convictions of state officials in recent years. The former Naivasha Member of Parliament, that is John Mutudho, lauded the move, stating that it is the way to go.
Tunaonekana kwamba Somalia wamepiga hatua mbele ya Kenya. Wale wakora wote wa COVID na hao walikuwa na shida kama yetu kule Somalia, including wale madaktari wakubwa na maminista na kila mtu, wote wako njela sasa. Wameshachunguzwa na kila kitu imekwisha. Mimi naomba serikali ya Kenya, from my heart, usitegemee opposition hii yetu kwa sababu ililala. Mara leo wanatuambia hiyo kitu ilikuwa genuine, mara kiongozi wao wanasema hivi, msitegemee haya. Lakini muombe msaada kutoka Somalia. Nchi ya Somalia wameweza kuinvestigate na wakaweza kupeleka hawa watu kotini na wakawafunga. Hiyo ni ujirani mwema. Kama sisi tumelemewa na kazi, tuombe msaada kwa jirani. Hatusemi hatuna DPP wetu, hatusemi Chief Justice wetu, hatusemi hatuna wale wengine wote ambao wanahusika, EACC na wale wengine. Lakini kama wewe ni jirani na umelemewa na kazi, omba jirani yako msaada. They know how to deal with these people, COVID guys, because they are worse than COVID itself. When you hear people have stolen 40, 53, or Mara 43, they have stolen, and now you hear that HIV, AIDS, malaria, TB is at risk because of these guys.
Revital Healthcare, that is APZ Limited, a Kenyan company in Kilifi, is set to start exporting personal protective equipment and COVID-19 reagents to help on the fight against the pandemic. Some of the other products being manufactured by the company include blood collection tubes, plain no additive K3, IV, that is cannula wings, urine bag collection, infusion set, face masks, surgical single 3-ply, premium surgical mask, specimen collection swabs, among others.
In medical device, there are 1,000 products. Slowly, we want to get one by one into the production. My highlight when the COVID came in For highlight was PPE kits and the COVID testing kits. It took me 3 months to get the right things done, the right approvals, the right certification of my company, and that's how I started my products. This is the only company I can say in Africa can manufacture 80,000 tubes a day, which is not possible anywhere. The VTMs especially, and the swabs, yeah. I've got certifications from CE Germany called TUE. We have been certified and licensed. They come for the audits. We've got a WHO GMP. We've got a ISO 13485, which falls under medical device.
Katika zile agenda 4 muhimu ambazo rais wetu amezizungumza kila uchao. Hii ama lile ambalo linatendeka hapa katika kampuni hii linaambatana kisawa sawa na zile agenda muhimu za rais wetu ambazo alitupatia. Kwa hivyo kwetu ni kuambia kongole mwenyekiti wa kampuni hii Mr. Vora. Sisi tunasema kongole kwa kuchagua Kilifi ili kuwekeza. Sote tumejionea vile vifaa ambavyo vinapatikana katika kampuni hii. Sekta ya afya, hususan wale ambao wanapambana ama wanaonana ana kwa ana na wagonjwa wa COVID, ni muhimu tuwakinge. Na kifaa muhimu ambao kinatakikana ni kile kifaa cha kujikinga.
Kajiado residents are calling on the Kenya Wildlife Service to act and help them from constant attacks of their livestock by wild animals. The residents say a day can't pass without having their livestock attacked by wild animals. On Monday, one of the residents lost his goats to the wild animals. They want KWS to intervene and help them after days of complaints with no compensation forthcoming.
Pitia nyumbani mifugo zetu zinakuliwa. Hizi kutoka asubuhi tulizifungulia twende malishoni. Hizi ndio changamoto tunapitia. Hizi wanyama zetu tunaomba KWS wachukue hatua vizuri, waangalie mifugo ya Masai. Pia sisi wa Masai, sisi ni wananchi, tuchukuliwe maanani. Kama venye watu wakilia wanyama wamekula shamba, hata sisi tunakula shamba zetu zinaharibiwa, mali zetu nyumbani zinaharibiwa. Kama mfano hii tumepata, hii ni hasara kubwa, bado zingine hatujui zitafika ama zimeathiriwa kama hii baadhi yenye tumepata. Hii ni changamoto ya kila siku. Hizi ni mfuko yenye tunajaribu kukaa nazo kama mfugo zetu yenye tumeleta.
Now let's cross over to Kigali. A group in Rwanda has been a hub for creative artists, share space and resources for the mutual benefit. This is where we meet some of the artists from the Envision Media Arts Collective, a social enterprise based in Kigali, who aim to revolutionize the creative arts in Rwanda. Diana Riza reports from Kigali.
Envision Rwanda was founded in 2018 and has been a hub for artists' creative minds to work amongst each other, be inspired by one another, share space, resources and knowledge to the mutual benefit of the group and to the Rwandan art scene at large. TV47 visited the Envision Art Gallery and spoke with Peter Lee, the founder and CEO of Envision Art Gallery. He says he came up with the idea after 2 years of training dozens of students at Agahozo Shalom Youth Village. Seeing the creative potential in them, he decided to set up a social enterprise to help young Rwandans develop their talents.
So we have probably now, I'd say, over 50 different creatives that are working with us. That ranges from photographers to filmmakers to people making jewelry, fashion designers, painters, sculptors, people doing just different kinds of visual arts as well. And what we do is we kind of just provide them the platform where they can, work in a space and also get connected to potential buyers. Obviously, these days we don't have as many tourists coming in, but before we'd have visitors come in. They'd be able to sell their artwork or prints of their artwork. And also, everyone is kind of their own individual freelancer, so they're not employees of mine, or they don't they don't work for me. If anything, like we're providing a service for them that allows them to kind of develop their own business skills and find their own markets. So they're all kind of have their own individual companies or brands.
CIS members of Envision Rwanda are nurtured to be independent artists and are aided in marketing their products. They are encouraged to be more creative and not be afraid of taking risks so they can create unique pieces that can give them exposure. Speaking to Remy Iradukunda, he shares how he uses art to make portraits that express different kinds of human emotions.
Joining Envision, first of all, I don't have another place to present my artwork, and one time I meet with Peter. I come here and he helped me to develop my artwork or develop my talent by sponsor my artwork or another things. I'm live paint, so many people love my artwork because I make the impression or emotion for the artwork, for my artwork. So there's someone told me to do like this artwork. Yeah. So it's a commission. It's not portrait. It's a commission to make like emotion who like happiness.
The Rwandan government has recognized the important role the creative industry plays in promoting the economy, especially in terms of employment. The government is working on a plan to see how the industry can be self-sustaining in the long term. In a bid to reap more from the creative and cultural arts, the Rwandan government is also planning to inject more funds into the industry. Diana Iriza, Kigali, Rwanda.
Commendable right there. Now